Hey everybody, thanks for showing up today. First off, I want to thank everybody for picking up the Mega Cloud Stacker. I think this is a game changer for all of us in reference to the factory products that we develop. We concentrate on quality, and you guys really stepped up, and the testers helped out. Evan was a tester, and we could go back into the tester account and see, like, every third post is Evan, and working with Chris and everything else. So what you're going to get today is a real treat in that not only did Evan test this, but Evan's a master in Excel. And so with that being said, I'm just going to turn it over to Evan. We have exactly a hard stop at 3 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully this will only take a half hour and we can run through questions and make the questions relevant and pertinent to what we're going to talk about and what Evan's going to share with us today to keep us on track. So Evan, I'm not going to waste any more time and roll it over to you, sir.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for coming out today for the webinar. This is something I don't typically do. So, apologize if I'm going too fast, or if you have questions, put them in the questions. I'll try to answer them as they're coming through. But the Mega Stacker is a super powerful tool. I do things a little bit different than a lot of the other people in the group, and I do national, I do local. I've been doing SEO for a long time, and what I do might be not exactly what you do, but maybe you'll learn something today, and this sheet should help you a little bit on doing it. I'm just going to go through it quickly, and then I'm going to do a couple examples on building a couple stacks to show you on how to use this Excel spreadsheet to actually help you with your business as well. So
everybody, the first tab, okay? Before we start, everybody here okay? Give me a one if you can hear Nevin all right. Just want to make sure before we get going. Okay. Awesome, bud.
Okay, so, and I'm assuming everybody can see it says Cloud Mega Account Stacker, Cloud Accounts Mega. It's an Excel spreadsheet that's in the group there. First tab is how to use. It's virtually just some descriptions on how to do stuff. I'm not going to go through exactly on that page, but that's something to refer back to. The logins, obviously this is blank because I'm not going to share my Google and Amazon and Azure clouds. I do not use Alibaba. I've been using RFR products since the beginning, and Alibaba, sometimes they, in the stacks, even with RFR, have had some issues with it. So I typically only stick with Google, Azure, and Amazon. They're the only three that I'm actually using. So if you look on each one of these tabs, you have Amazon, Azure, and Google. If you go into the MegaStack software, if you go here, I'm just in the PDF side. You have cloud accounts that you're going to be able to put in and get all that information. And I think Karen has set up good videos on how to do that. If you have questions, ask the group or whatever. But that's something that they can address offline versus this call. So if you look at this, Cloud One is one of my buckets. If I hit Get Buckets here, I can actually hit Copy to All, and all of those things are actually going to show up in my bucket, in my clipboard. I can go and grab that and paste it into this area for Amazon, and it will actually just hit OK, and it will paste those things right there into your bucket. It's going to take a second. Computer's running slow. Those are the three buckets that would show up in there. You then copy that where it says Cloud One up there on the top, which is the exact same as this right here. And that you fill that in for each one of your Amazon, Azure, and Google clouds with this software. And it seems with this Excel spreadsheet, it seems like it's tedious. It goes pretty quick. Once you have each one of those filled out, and this is just an example. Obviously, you'll be deleting all of these and putting in your own yellow and your green buckets in each one of these. But the nice part about it is that based on the example I showed you, let's say you wanted to go into the weight loss, or you wanted to go into roofing, or whatever, you can now make these clouds very quickly and grab these. And these are the 30 cloud accounts that I have that I've set up. I go to Notepad.
Wow.
And I paste those right in there. File save as main roofing in my stack order for what's going on. I go now over here to load for this, and I say main roofing, and there, look at it, all of those are already in there. So you don't have to go and hand do them anymore.
No shit. Sorry.
So what ends up happening is that the only thing is that when you're making the root bucket, okay, so this is, if you're looking at it, it says Amazon Cloud, Cloud One roofing. If roofing is already taken, it's going to add a 3-letter extension to the end of roofing. So what my suggestion is always make your root buckets, the base bucket, either by hand or when you're making them, that you verify that they're all there before you start doing the next step, which is what this software is going to allow you to do, which is the cool part with the folders. And I'm saying software, but it's the Excel spreadsheet, so I apologize. So I'm just going to clear that out. So,
hey, Evan,
yep.
Let's step one step back, since everybody doesn't understand that when you said make sure that you can get the bucket, the interesting thing about this is that when somebody picks the bucket, it's gone for, it's like a domain name.
Yes.
So if I want roofing, but somebody else in Albuquerque that we don't know has a bucket called roofing, you're never going to get roofing, right? It's, so that's what he means when he says make sure it's available first. Very critical, because you could go through this whole process and do it, and then you can't get your
the two clouds that you have to be aware of is Amazon, and you have to be aware of it with Google. With Azure, you're not doing that because it will say there'll be like a subdomain before it, so you can actually have duplicates because there's a subdomain before you're in the cloud. But for Amazon and for Google, you have to, it's going to be a unique name, and it's a unique name based on the area in which you are. So if you're looking for Virginia East and that's gone, you could go out to somewhere on the West Coast, or you could go to Europe or wherever and try to get that domain, the bucket name in a different geography, but it's not going to be in the Virginia one, where it's typically where you just have the AWS and you're not having East or any of that other stuff based on what's going on, because that was
right.
The first Amazon cloud.
So does everybody understand what we just said? Just let me know you understand it, so we don't have questions later.
So now that's kind of neat with the clouds. The other thing is this list one is kind of neat, and I'm gonna have to hold on a second. I'm gonna have to move this over a little bit because I'm running out of room on my notebook. So I just used the word try. So let's say once all of your clouds are in there, I put in the word try, or you can, let's say Rand is one I'm looking for. And it's just a perfect saying I'm looking for anything that has the word Rand in there. It will look through both Amazon, Azure, and Google and give me all the different clouds that actually show where Rand is in there. So if you're doing something for roofing or plumbing or weight loss or whatever, you'll be able to get your Google clouds very quickly, which then you would be able to grab these and copy them. And this cloud keyword one is pretty impressive, because if you go and you hit paste values, it gives you all of these here. And based on this, it gives you all of this, which is all the variations of how each one of these clouds fit with your keywords. The
Wow.
first 9 keywords, or the 9 clouds, are not going to have folders to them, but the 10th one all the way to the end, which is 228 buckets, are going to have have the different variations of all the different keywords. So I'm going to go to one that I set up so I can walk through and show you exactly how powerful and what the use of this is, rather than just bogus keywords and everything else. So I'm going to switch over to my Google, the sheet that I use personally, the one that I built for myself. Obviously, I'm not going to show you any of my clouds. I'm not dumb. So, but the nice part about it is that if you hit F9 on these things for weight loss, it will randomly pick those. Now I went out there and I created something, and if you look at what's going on inside of Mega, and I'm in the PDF article, I created a Kansas City, Missouri hail damage roofing PDF. I just grabbed an image, I grabbed a bunch of stuff, spun a bunch of content, and put it in here, put in the information on the side here, and then the add-on to the sheet that I added this morning, if you go over a little bit further, so if you look at, oh, sorry, I'm going to shut this sheet down back. I go to the Evan one. I can hit F9, and it gives me different random buckets. So let's say I want to grab a 20 bucket, the 20 buckets to do this. It's randomly picking these keywords, which are LSI keywords. If you look at it, it will show you that each one of these is going to be emergency roof repair services is right here. I hit F9. It's now gone to roofing services or bulging roofing shingles or whatever based on the LSI words that I have. Those are all going to be folders inside of my buckets. I copy that, go to Notepad, and I just go to the Kansas City Roofing, hit save, go back to the program, go to Stack Design, load, Kansas City Roofing. There we go. I have this already set up. I'm not going to open it in a browser. I go and I do this. It has everything already inside of here for me. This Excel spreadsheet, if you go over a little bit further on this sheet, this is what I added today. These are keywords that are spun, so those keywords are actually in different, sorry, wrong sheet. I'm going to shut that one down. Don't save. So if I go over into this one that I was showing you originally, it gives you a list of all of these spun LSI words. You can add Kansas City or Kansas City, Missouri. If you don't want to have it, if it's national, leave those blank. It gets rid of those, which is kind of neat. But what ends up happening is now I can go down here and grab this and say the top 15, go back to Mega Stacker, and I go down here, bam, there's all my keywords. It's been randomly done. So I can go and make several stacks by changing variations on what's going on, by typing in Kansas City, Missouri, or putting hail damage roofing and then the city afterwards and making different stacks very quickly. And right now I go and I hit stack, boom, I can make a 20 stack and it's going to be done in about a minute and a half. So the key is that now when I'm going and I'm doing this and I'm doing other variations of the keyword, should be working, there you go. So we're going to make a 20 stack for this roofing for Amazon, for Azure, and for Google. And one thing I've noticed, and just so you're aware, this is the company. I did Kansas City hail damage roofing. This is what shows up for results. I decided to go in here and pick a company that is on the second page. And the reason I picked these guys is they had 19 reviews and they're on the at a 4.8 rating. It's pretty easy to move a company like this up into maps. So then I go in this is their website. It's not anything special. It looks like crap. It's probably made by GoDaddy. But I go in here, and the nice part about it is that this is their map. Everybody knows what this map looks like, correct? A lot of people like to use this share button, right, to be able to get a URL that just is created, which is kind of neat. If you go and grab this, or I just hit copy, and I go back over here and I put it in, it's going to bring me back to that same URL. But one thing I've noticed is that if you really want right now, if I go back to this, see where this original Kansas City hail damage roofing, if I grab this piece right there with the plus, and I go back to this one here, and I add a plus sign right here behind construction, the name of their company, and I hit enter, look what happens. I now have the company with the keyword in this. I grab this URL, and now I'm going after that keyword attached to their roofing GMB or map. And I put that inside of right up here. I also build links and stacks to, if I go to this here, and I say I want to know what these are, I can go and grab either the main reviews, which is the main review page, or I can go right here to the Eric Jorgensen, and then I click on this, and I hit share. I'll build stacks to this as well. And the reason is that gives you instant, with that stack and that authority that's coming, you can pound these links, unlike sending it right to a buffer or to your money site. So if you want, obviously if you're doing it for a customer, that's one thing. I'm just doing it to show an example. I usually always use buffers, like a Google Doc or, a Google site or whatever, but normally it's Google Docs. So if I need to change them, I can change them pretty quickly. And what it is that I send those links. So I could grab this link right here, right? Copy it, go back to MegaStacker, and I change this right here to my new link, Control A. I put that in there, switch this to hail damage X, put that there, change it around. Hold on. I'm running out of screen because I'm only on my notebook. I go back into that spreadsheet that we had. I press F9, it refreshes. I grab this, the keywords, go back into MegaStack, paste those in. I'm leaving the same content, changed a few things. Go to the stack design. I hit clear on this. I go back to my Mega, go to the keywords, go back closer to home, hit F9 again. I'm going to grab these because I know all of them are there. I'm just going to grab these are my clouds, which they're only going to be going into folders. I go back here, Control A, Control V, save. And now what you do is you go back to MegaStack, load, Kansas City Roofing, hit. I'm going to keep these just so I have them. And I clear this, and I hit go stack again. Sometimes I go in here and just delete these just because that's just how I am. It shouldn't make any difference, but I just do that just because of how I've used the software in the past. I hit go stack. Now I've just made another 15 or 20 stack on using the same document, but going with different keywords in different folders inside of my main roofing hail buckets. Hopefully this makes sense, because what you're able to do is instead of having to hand put each one of those in, and you have no issue with duplication for a folder inside of a main bucket. So if you're using something, you're never going to run into that as an issue. So you look at this, and we're almost done. And if you look, I'll just click on one. You can see it's all set up. It's going to go back and build your stack. I did this for a company some people that were looking at it, and I said, hail damage, roofing, Ala. Oops, hold on. and I just do maps. I picked this company right here, this Kamiko Roofing. They weren't even showing up on maps. If you click on their website right now is not even a website. If you click on it, look at it. There's nothing there.
That's another job.
So what ended up happening is that I gave authority to this. I did this as a 650 stack just to test to try to break the software, which it did not break.
That's awesome.
And if you look at it in the maps, this wasn't even showing up, and I wanted to see if I could take something and give it so it showed up. And I haven't done anything to it other than that one run.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. But it's like number 18, but it wasn't even showing up before. And
Right.
I did another one for a company that was actually being penalized because they had 244 reviews, and they were on page 4 of maps and on the GMB. They were doing something to be penalized. I hammered it with about 8 different small little stacks like I just showed you, and within 3 days it was in the 3-pack.
Wow.
I don't power index things. I do some. That bulk add URL seems to work pretty well. One thing I've noticed is that you don't want HTMLs seem to index faster through this Mega software than PDFs, but PDFs are awesome for link building. So if you want to build links, the PDFs actually seem to give a lot of power going through on links, and it seems to work pretty well. One little trick that I've used is that I build a sheet with all of the links that I have. So the links that we just grabbed from this one right here, I'll put that into a sheet and into a Google Doc, and I will actually index that Google Doc. And that bulk add URL, it costs money, but will virtually index Google Sheets and Docs within about 20 minutes. So it forces them to crawl that, which then will eventually index these links.
Right.
So
Cool.
I don't know if I went too fast or whatever with what's going on, but the ability to add your clouds here up to 100 keywords, LSI keywords, and to be able to make significant amount of buckets or folders in your buckets very quickly to do stacks, it's a huge time saver. So does anybody have any questions on what I've done? Did I talk too fast? Was I too confusing? Anybody still there? Those are
Yeah. No, we're all here. We're just like, yeah, if you would slow down a little bit, we'd learn more. But look, that's why we have a recording coming. You can go back and rewind, play. This is a lot of information that you would never just be able to grasp totally on your own anyway, unless you're at that level of, expertise, like Evan and a couple other people on here. So for me, this is complete training on what to do. I just have, when I get the webinar replay, which is you guys will get, you've got the spreadsheet, you just take time to go through it at your own pace, learn what he's talking about, set up some sample accounts, and do it exactly the way Evan or Evan has shared with you. And, you'll be creating your own scenarios and working it the way that is good for you in your time frame. So,
the key is this: when you're making your buckets, make sure you get that bucket before you try building folders to the bucket. Because if you don't have the right folder, the right main bucket, and you're using this, if it adds a 3-digit extension, it will break your stack, because it won't know that roofing is roofing XYZ, because that roofing was already taken.
right.
That's incredibly important. So when you're doing this, these should be all filled out with what your true buckets are. Why mine are black because I'm not sharing them with you, just because it's just, I have a lot of buckets and a lot of folders and everything else. I'm just showing you, these are, you can see these are the ones that I'm using. These are real buckets that I have. I'm not huge into roofing, which is why I use this. So if people want to go and get crazy and try to blow stuff up or whatever, I really don't care. It's not like I have a relationship with the guy in Alabama, the guy in St. Louis, or the guy in Kansas City that I just did.
So which guy did you get into the 3-pack right away? Now it's dancing around a little bit as normal, but
Dancing, oops, hold on. I did this guy right here. So if you type in
St. Louis, big city.
yeah, so this is the company right here, Gallagher Brothers and Construction. They weren't even on page one. That popped all the way to right there.
They were not ranked that high before?
They were not ranked there. They were not ranked there. They weren't on page one when I did this, and I did it last week.
So they're all the way up to number 2.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice.
So, and they're right here. So right now they're bouncing. Yeah, right afterwards they bounced to 1 and 2. Right now they're to 4, but they were on page 4 of Google Maps. So if you kept on going,
right.
where I picked them from was way down in here. You know, wherever, based on the keyword that I was going after.
Right. Carolyn was asking, you were talking about the links in the PDF. What was your reference to the links in the PDF?
Sorry about this. I didn't even see all these questions, so
That's all right.
sorry about this. I just am looking at it quick. Hold on. How do I make it bigger?
No, you're fine. They had blue pills for that.
Slow down. Sorry about that.
It's just the way you present. It's fine. That's why we have the recording.
Yep. Buckets do have SEO power.
Next question. Karen was asking, how do you know the company was penalized? Just probably because of their position and the amount of reviews they had would indicate that they were.
If you're on page 4 and you have 200 positive reviews and you're a 4.8 star on Google, you're being penalized.
You're penalized. Can you show how you generate the random bucket list?
Okay.
Again.
Well, if you go back to here, this is a random bucket list. These are the keywords that we're using, right? These are my main buckets that I have, right? So roofing dash hail, hail dash roofing. You can see the period there. Isn't that kind of neat? So yep. What ends up happening is that if you actually fill these in, and it can only go up to 100, and you hit the F9 if you are in Excel. If you're using Google Sheets, you actually have to go under File and hit Recalculate. It's like there's a button to be able to recalculate. That's the only way to do it. I would highly recommend you using Excel. It works better. But if you hit F9, you can see how the screen refreshes. It gets you a new list of randomly chosen on what the way your stack is going to be.
But would it work in Google Drive Sheets?
It does, but not as good.
Okay.
There's issues. There's issues.
All right, cool.
Henrik, I know I'm nuts.
GP's asking, where did the keywords come from? I mean, you did your own keyword research.
So here you go. I went to Google and grabbed hail damage roofing and a couple other keywords inside of the keyword planner tool from AdWords, which you can get for free. You don't have to be paying for them to be able to get it. I ran through a bunch of those. That's what this is. Came up with a bunch of them. Then I grabbed some other ones that I thought were pertinent to what it was. And then I put them over here. And in reality, I can actually go and create a list of different ones with Excel and I could grab different variations on what's going on for each one of these.
One
What's
other,
going on.
hey,
So
Evan,
that,
do you use the Keyword Translation Factory?
yeah, but sometimes it gives me some irrelevant ones or whatever. So I just like to look and say who bids the highest on those words. It's kind of nice to know that those are keywords that are being bid on the highest through the Keyword Planner. And then I actually use those and I run it through a separate software. And at the bottom of Google, where if you type in here, let's say, I'll show you.
Well, that's what the Keyword Translation Factory does. It picks up all the LSI related keywords on the bottom of the page and gives them to you right away.
Exactly. So what I do is I use a tool that does the exact same thing. So if I typed in hail damage, roofing, Wisconsin, whatever, right? So I'm just picking it up. Oh, maybe.
Just forget Wisconsin for a minute. Doesn't matter which one.
These. And it gives you those.
Yeah, but within the Keyword Translation Factory, it goes 3 levels all the way down. So 500.
You can go and grab them there as well and just use those in there. And it virtually gives you an unlimited amount of folders in which you can build. And you can do it in a short hurry relative once you get it set up. Understand, once you're in here and you're in PDF or HTML, it works for both. So it doesn't make, so if I'm in HTML, I do the HTML stack design. I can open this up and hit load and hit my 500 plus roofing ones that I did there for what was it? I can load the ones from Kansas City roofing. I can go back to my PDF stacker and let's say I hit save article. I can load this article now from the software and come back 2 or 3 weeks from now and build more stacks to that existing vertical niche or whatever based on what I'm doing. And once it's set up, it takes maybe 10 minutes and you can make 5 to 10 stacks with LSI folders.
Right.
Which, it's, for me, it's a lifesaver.
Well, the time savings in detail is ridiculous. Dan's asking a question here. Let's see. Can we create new folders in the buckets just using Mega Stacker and pasting new keywords without the Excel spreadsheet? I guess is what he's saying.
You absolutely could. It just when I first did it, I was doing it in Notepad and doing it that way. The issue with Excel is that once you have them in, you never have any misspelled words. You never have any misspelled buckets. You don't have an extra space or something that is coming from, at the end of this, if there's an extra space in here, right? If there's an extra space, that's gonna mess it up. So what ends up happening is it just keeps me organized. And because I'm good with Excel or really good with Excel, it seems to be an easy function for me.
Yes, easy with Excel is not even remotely close to how good you are with it. Yeah, we have the new spreadsheet is in the room, guys. So that's already with the new improvement for it. Did not see. Well, this isn't the GMB. Oh, GMB Mega Poster Group. It's in the Mega Poster Group, not GMB. Carolyn, I'll make sure that you get it. How do we get into the Mega chat? If you bought Mega, you should have had a link in your thank you page to get you to it. Steve, just give me a ring and I'll make sure that I get you in there. Need Buckets, Folders, Stacks 101 course. You just had it, Gainer. Just take the complete webinar and put it on. Hey, Evan.
Yeah.
I saw one comment in here. This is the first and only ever webinar I have to put on half speed.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like to waste time, so I apologize. I talk fast and I work even faster. So typically, just so you guys are aware, I have up in my office, I have about 9 computers going at once, doing different things. So, and I do have 2 VPSs as well. So that's not real computers that are on my, gigabit speed internet where I work.
All right, so I know we're got just a few more minutes here. Let's get some questions. Scott's asking, so if we have old buckets with the A, B, C, D crap, can we still use those going forward?
Absolutely. You can use them and you can save them in that deal. So if you look, I'm going to open up the other ones just so I'm not showing you mine again. So open, and here we go. So 1 second here. So if you look at these here, you're going to delete all of this and you're going to put in your own. And whatever ones you have, when you go back into the MegaStack tool and you go in here and it says, I want to copy all of these from Cloud One in my bucket, this is where I'm in Cloud One, I hit paste, boom. It's going to take a second because I'm on the webinar. It doesn't die. There you go. So that is my Cloud One bucket that is right here. I make sure, see, this one has a space in there, and I want to make sure that that's the exact same. So you just copy and paste that in there. And you do that for each one of your buckets, and whatever it is, if there's an extra little thing in there, then you'll be able to, a 3-digit code, you'll be able to still use that. And if you're using this list, right, I just typed in wood. I'm just going to type in wood because I saw Woodbury as one of the things. Boom, it shows that that's one of my clouds. So if I have a keyword rich one that has 3 digits on there, I can still use it for building links. I don't typically go and delete them. I just, when it happened to me twice, I just said, you know what, I'll leave the ones that I currently have, but going forward, I'm never going to build folders to buckets that aren't already in existence.
Okay, is there, in what you're building, JC's asking, do you add schema anywhere to your pages, then export the HTML?
I add schema in the HTML, but you cannot spin it because the spinner. So I have schema in HTML, and I add style stuff to it because I understand HTML pretty well. But when you actually go in and make those changes, they have these brackets. Hold on. So when you're doing schema, it has brackets that are in there like this for schema. The issue is that what ends up happening is that when the software thinks it's spinning it, it removes those. Those are needed for doing stuff for style sheet and for CSS and for schema. So you can't spin it. So if it's in a script tag or in a style tag, Chris has made it so that will not spin, but you can still put it in on the HTML sheet. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, well, for those that are using schema, it probably does. Gainer's asking to explain the bucket name availability and geolocation reference. Is this referring to creating bucket names with keyword plus location?
What was that one more time?
Explain the bucket name availability and geolocation reference. Availability, Gainer, I'll stab at it.
Availability is just with Google and with Amazon. It's got to be a unique bucket across their entire platform. On Google, it's the entire thing. And on Amazon, it's by location. So if you're in Europe, or if you're in Virginia, or if you're out in, the West Coast, or in Ohio, each one of those is unique for that geographic area. So if I wanted to go and find personal injury attorney or something like that, it's probably gone. but if I might be able to find a variation of it or some other kind of a deal in there, because a lot of people like myself, I probably have, I don't know, at least 10,000 buckets. 'Cause I'm not showing it.
You did as a land grab.
Yes,
You knew that this
virtually
is
every major city in the United States, I have that bucket.
right. So the point we're trying to make is that, you're learning that there's a scarcity here. And if you want to do this and you want to have that, specific name in your bucket, now is the time to go grab as many of them you can for whatever niche that you're working in, because as time goes on, like anything else, they're going to evaporate and you're going to have to be using bucket names with variables as time progresses, right? So go get them now. Okay.
I'm just looking through some more of the questions here just to make sure if there's anything else that we need to answer.
I'm all the way down to Jack that says, how does this help the maps with regard to all these keywords?
Well, maps in your GMB, they can take a lot of power, and they actually help with your GMB, especially with reviews and getting stuff into the 3-pack.
Right.
So if you go, like I showed you before, sorry, I'm not using Firefox, but if you go in here, and like I showed you here, where I went and grabbed this company, which is the company that we were looking at, that we were building the stuff for, you can add a plus right behind their GMB. And there's some other stuff too that is, you can do with the machine ID stuff and everything else, if people are aware of that, which bought the GMB hack course and that stuff. But the easiest is just by typing in hail plus damage. Messing it up. So hold on 1 second here. I just go back here and grab this piece right here, which is what I originally did. Go back here, paste it there. And if you look right here in the screen, not only is it their company name, but it actually has that in this URL here. It does not show up there, but it actually is something that actually passes through. And if you do it with this here, with the share button, it used to keep it, now it doesn't. So the key is that just continue to build out to links that are of value to this company, right? You could do it to the plus code. Obviously, you don't want to send it right to the website, because this website, obviously, I showed you, cannot take any kind of major power when it's like a one-page website from, Google, from GoDaddy, build my website tonight or whatever it is. But right here, if I know that this was a customer, I might start building stuff to Kearney or Platte City or Smithville as other spokes of what's going on inside of my mega sheet. So instead of just going here and doing hail damage roof Kansas City, I might be going after the sub cities in which they're trying to market to as well, and doing that with the GMB, and doing that with driving directions potentially. There's thousands of different places that you can get URLs where you can build links to that are inside of Google that Google actually thinks are important.
So, and then look at right where you are right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Evan. So with all the tools that everybody has, what can we do with those links that you have right there?
Well, I can copy these. I can add URLs right here to links indexer, use my free allowance, and boom, it's already sent to Speedlinks.
Right. How about Sheets or Backlink Factory or Google document?
I will tell you that you can actually go. This is the top. This is the bottom, which is going to go to the URL that we're trying to our money site or wherever we're pointing to, the buffer or whatever, right?
Yep.
This is the top. depending on how you want to look at it.
Okay, I got you.
You can build backlink factory, if you have backlink factory, to each and every one of these links really quickly.
Correct.
These things can take a pounding as well. Don't put 1,000,000 links on there, but you go and do 1,000 links to each one of these, and you're virtually building out your network of what you're virtually building your own PBN that you're in control of.
Correct.
On Google's properties, Amazon's properties, and Azure. And
not bad power.
If you look at this is a thing I was going to show you. I'll show you one other thing. You know, I showed you hail damage roofing, Alabama, right? This is it. It's ranked right here as number 5 overall, right? I haven't done any backlink factory or anything to it. But you know what's kind of interesting? Hit the next page. What's this? Roofing questions in Alabama. That's me too. That's one of the stacks. And it's because I used the ability to make my keywords into different things in different buckets. I'm getting variations of LSI in the cloud stack.
All right. Wow. I mean,
super powerful.
All the things that we talk about doing, but you basically have built a system where you can do it in one simple way or fashion, saving boatloads of time and understanding of trying to think through this whole process that's already done for you. This is incredible. This is insane. Super, super appreciative of that. And, I'm definitely going to be replaying this and replaying this and replaying this. Carolyn, okay, thanks. I did purchase. Thanks. Evan's on steroids, man. Can you do the dot dash hack in the spreadsheet?
You can do the dot. You can do that in the spreadsheet, but to be honest with you, if you grab, let's say you go right here to the I think it's the clouds, and let's say you wanted to build something and it was, I don't know, insurance dot quote, and that was your bucket name. You would then be able to grab each one of these here and make, let's say I wanted to make a 10 bucket deal, copy those. I could then paste them into Notepad, which I'm not going to do because then you're going to start seeing a bunch of my buckets.
That's fine.
But what it allows you to do is, and then you run that, and you'll see based on what comes out if there is a 3-digit letter there, which then you know that bucket wasn't available. And then when you update those buckets in here to where your clouds are, right? So where you know these buckets, which Chris was super nice. And if you go in here and just hit the opposite mouse button, it says copy to all on your bucket name. All you do is put it in the cloud, hit go get buckets, copy to clipboard, and paste it right here. And you do it for every one of your buckets. It's not rocket science. But then the reason I do it in the spreadsheet is that I now have the ability to go in and do keywords based on different buckets that I've created that are keyword rich. Right? So like if I type in, there you go. Let's see if this works. Nope. Equals. It's because Excel thinks that the minus AL is a formula. You can see right there I have Birmingham, Hoover, Huntsville, Mobile, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, and Alabama for both Amazon and Google. So if you want to go and get Alabama-AL, you can.
Oh, but we could come to you and pay you for it eventually, right?
Well, whatever. But my thing is that you notice, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you know, like law, you're going to see a shit pile of them, right?
Mhm.
And this goes down, and you can have as many buckets as you want.
So what you're saying is that you've already land grabbed that term.
Certain terms.
Yeah, right. And you should it's your business. I mean, go get them if you can before somebody else does, because once they do, they're gone.
So
Uh, Tim's asking the bucket name issue. Does that tip off a footprint issue?
no,
Okay. So would a good bucket be Plumber Miami or just Plumber, parentheses, using these as examples to understand if we should have the city niche or just a bucket for the niche?
depends if it's available.
Well, if it is available, would you suggest a
I
niche?
would take Plumber first, and then I could do folders for Miami and, you know, whatever, Fort Lauderdale or whatever cities that he wants to go after. The higher the word, the better it is. Right? But if you want, you can go and get Plumber, and then you could do Plumber Miami, Florida. You know, you could get 3 different variations and do 3 different variations for both Google, Azure, and Amazon, and you have 9 different buckets now. And now with this spreadsheet, you could have 10,000 folders on 9 buckets, easy.
Right. David's asking, do you run traffic to any of these? Or do they stick over time?
I have run traffic to some in the past. I have not run traffic to any of the examples that I have. And
Cool.
I have stuff that I've done. I did something in Excel, which Mega does for me now. I built something in Excel about a year ago that was doing something that Mega does, but Mega helps me out immensely, and it's significantly faster. So I have things right now that I had for a vertical that I was doing PDFs for that have been stuck up there, not with Mega, but the same idea behind it. And they've been stuck there, and they're ranking on the first page. I'm getting leads from them, and they've been up for over a year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And understand, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting any money. I'm doing this because I wanted to help out the group, and hopefully you guys learned something today. And don't be blasting that period thing all over RFR or any of the group stuff or whatever, because if you do, I'm not going to answer any of your questions.
Well, eventually, if you abuse something, it gets picked up, and this is just a private training. You guys paid to be here by buying the software within the time frame that Evan wanted to share with you here. So let's respect the privacy of what is being taught to you, for you, and it's like anything else. The more you share it with other people, the more they share it with other people, the less opportunity you're going to have to be successful with it. So let's try to respect that. Luann says, really, really need to thank you very, very, very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm looking through. There's a ton of questions. I apologize if I haven't answered. What is this? There's something. Where'd it go?
Yeah, Gary, all those existing buckets that you see belong to Evan. Yes. He's already been out there and done it. It's part of the advantage of being in the tester group with us is that you guys get advantages that nobody else does as we're going through and testing this stuff. So when I ask testers, step up.
And just so you know, I've been on the tester group for RFR, for Backlink, for Mega, GMB. I've been around for a long time. I don't do webinars. This is not something I typically do.
Well, let's put it this way. You've never done webinars. It's not that you don't. You never have done this before in your life for us. So
Never for you guys. Exactly. And
I
it's just, so hopefully you guys learned something and I didn't talk too fast and all that other stuff. But anyways, you guys have a good day. I got to actually run and actually go try to make some money now. And if you have questions, let me know. I know that there's a group thing that says MCS Evan Special Training on Skype. If you put something in there, I'll try to answer it. Let's try to keep this special training outside of the Mega Cloud Stacker, because this is supposed to be a special for anyone that bought it before Sunday.
correct.
So I'll remove the sheet from the Mega Cloud Stacker, and then, probably later on tonight, and then put it into the MCS special training. And the only reason that it's a special training is that we want to keep it separate from the people that actually didn't buy it before the Sunday deadline for Patrick.
And just look into the chat from earlier. I put a link to that Skype group in that in the chat earlier. And if you could see there's 13 people already joined.
Yep.
62 people here on the webinar. So every single one of you should be in this room, because this is where any dialogue or communication is going to take place, not directly within
Not in this one.
right, not within that one. We gave everybody ample opportunity to get to be here. And even if you're not here, but you did register for this, then that's going to be sufficient enough for you to get into this private room. And, trust me when I tell you, there are people that are paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to be part of some sort of structure that, you're going to get for free here with Evan and everybody else that's going to participate. Henrik is in here, Madge is in here, a lot of guys that know what they're doing. And, this is actually worth more than the actual price of the software as far as I'm concerned. So, all right, man, really.
Anyway, you guys have a good one. And I know, Patrick, you're going to have a replay or whatever, and you probably could put that replay in the special training group or whatever as well, just so that it's not going back to everybody as well.
Oh yeah, it's not going in that room at all.
Okay.
Okay.
So, sounds good. Well, you guys all have a good one, and if you need anything, you can chat into that group.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So that's it. Can you all see the link that's in the chat? Real quick, can you see the link? Joinskype.com, blah, blah, blah. Can you see that? I got a couple no's and a couple yeses. It's just right in the chat. If you open up your chat, it should be there. Yes, yes, yes. Found it. Scroll up. Mike says scroll up. Okay. And if you are, for whatever reason, can't find it, just give me a shout on my PM, and then I will go ahead and add you. Everybody seems to be able to see it now. Okay. Scroll up. I put it up there at the very beginning of the webinar. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right, cool. So I know that this was like on super speed, but pound for pound, minute for minute, what'd you guys think of what you learned today? Just give me some comments. Did you learn anything? Is this awesome? Is it going to take this software to a different level for you? When Evan showed this to me the other day, I damn near fell out of my chair. I mean, seriously. And I've been dealing with Evan for a long time. Henrik's been dealing with Evan in the rooms as well. And just crazy stuff, man. Let me just take a real quick second while we're still here. And maybe, are you still there, Henrik? I guess not. Okay. Doss, he's in the room with us too. Doss is here today. So what are your thoughts on what Nevin shared with us today, Doss?
Killer.
I know you're a man of few words, but seriously, killer?
Oh, really, absolutely killer.
You didn't know this was coming, did you? I mean, you
No,
didn't
I
know.
didn't know this was coming. I'm still kind of boggled. I'm thinking of all the possibilities and the speed that things can be done once that's set up.
Right. Okay.
It'll definitely take. I mean, the tool is intense on its own, but that just takes it to a whole nother level.
Right. All right. Very, very, very cool. Let me see who else was part of the test group that's here. Scott's here. Scott, you were part of the test group. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'll have to listen to the webinar about 4 times, but that'll save a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nuts. The things that we know that it could do. And then he just made it, really powerful on steroids, right?
It takes it beyond what Madge would even do.
Oh, well, Madge is here too. So
Now I'm in trouble.
I think we might be in trouble. So, all right, cool, man. I really appreciate it. I think the combination of Excel and software not having to manually connect them is going to save a lot of time. Carol, it's going to save you so much time. You're not actually going to be able to believe what time it saves, but the results that you're going to get with this. But, one thing to really kind of just share with everybody is that I don't want anybody to think that this is a replacement for what you're doing, right? Scott, I mean, you know how important RFR is to the entire process. I mean, that's the foundation of what we do. And you take all of these links and all the things that you're doing and what Nevin or Evan just said, his formula is, using RFR, using Backlink Factory, and using this. Madge's formula using RFR, using Backlink Factory, and now going to be using this. So the products are designed to work together with each other, not to replace each other. And Audrey, can you use Mega to just create buckets without any docs? Yeah, you can go make your buckets and your folders without anything in them, as far as I'm aware. And you want to go do that probably for your niche as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely get in there and grab your bucket names while you can, because they're a one shot and gone.
Right. What you got to do? Okay, cool. I got somebody here from Israel, Rand, who just popped on here last night. Rand is going to also help us out a little bit. He's going to be working and his partner within the Mega Cloud to do some other really cool stuff with this. Rand, you have not seen this before. What are your thoughts from today?
You opened my mic?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. I joined like 10-15 minutes after the beginning, so let's say that I was shocked from the speed and the amount of is like a magician. Okay, I will need to watch this 3 times in the very low speed to understand what is going on. Mm-hmm. But is amazing, and every time I looked at what he did, I was thinking if I can do that also in non-English, like Hebrew or other languages. So, but to begin with, I need to watch it a few times and understand how the process is going on. But it's amazing stuff.
Why don't you about what you and I talked about the other night? I mean, you and your partner have decided that you're going to help out with some stuff. What are some of the things that you and your partner are going to be helping me and some of the people with within the group here as well. You guys had any plans yet?
I can give you a few bullet points, if it's okay, because
Sure.
it's flexible. But one, we decided to test a few things, or to make like a protocol for a few things. The first thing is to see what can be done with the clouds with non-English. In our case, it's Hebrew. So I already started to test stuff, and for example, you can't use Hebrew characters in a bucket's name, but you can use it in folders and file names, which is very important data for us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For example, or I already started to play with some adding JavaScripts in the head area of the place where you usually put schema. I started to use all kind of JavaScripts of all kind of SaaS services that I have.
Okay.
And it's amazing. I have like something that shows the Google reviews, the GMB reviews, and it can be added to any HTML. So I just play with it today, and it's very powerful that you take let's say that the concept of my partner and me, that we are going to use it to build like the equivalent of micro sites. We're going to use the PDF and the HTML to build actually like assets that have their own importance, not only for stacking, but also for usage as assets that you can rank and you can do all kind of stuff.
Cool.
And,
so part of the process of doing all that is then once you get it down to a science, then, you know, the deal that you and I made is that you're going to come in and do a little teaching and help all the guys in here to understand a little bit, maybe a different level of what they can do as well, correct?
Yes, that was the deal. And because we are recorded now, it became a mega deal. Nowhere to run.
Some people think I'm not too bright, but I don't think I'm stupid.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I take full responsibility for doing the stuff, and whatever findings or protocols we come with, we will teach. No problem.
All right, cool. Well, I think the point that I'm trying to make for all of us that are here, you know, is that this is an environment where as you learn something, and in the particular area of the sheet, you know, that Evan shared with us, you know, we want to share with each other, and the more that we learn and the more that we share, the better we're all going to get. And, you know, that's the key, you know, to the success of any software is learning it, but having others help you and sharing the possibilities. And I think that's where we're going to go with this, especially within, you know, this particular smaller group than the bigger group out there. So, all right, man, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
One thing I can promise.
Yes.
When I will talk, you will not need to run it to a slower speed, but to double speed.
All right, very cool. Anybody want to raise your hand and say anything? Otherwise, we're going to say good afternoon for the time and sign off. Anybody else want to say anything about what they saw or whatever? I don't see any hands going up. So thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate it. I'll post the webinar to the group later. See ya.
Good night. See you. Bye-bye.